Ladies and gentlemen, once again, somebody refuses to back down from BLM and they cry and complain that the cops aren't protecting them and that the news is against them.
8 Saturday night, this Northeast Portland neighborhood turned into a crime scene.
I heard a sound about to be 8 to 10 consecutive gunshots.
Chelsea Blando was in her apartment near Normandale Park and rushed out.
Along with pretty much everybody in my complex, it looked like the entire police force of Portland came out.
Very chaotic scene.
Portland police said 1 woman died and 5 others hit by gunfire went to the hospital. Flyers on social media showed a group of demonstrators planned to gather at the park to protest the police shooting of a black man in Minneapolis earlier this month. Police say armed protesters and an armed homeowner got into a fight and began shooting.
I wanted to thank our officers who were showing up every day.
At a Portland police news conference Sunday morning, Lieutenant Nathan Shepard began to share information,
They are murdering us!
but was interrupted by several demonstrators condemning police, use of force, and the media.
I ain't gonna stand here and let these cops lie.
Lieutenant Shepard cut the news conference short and resumed it later over Zoom.
We were at the very beginning stages of the investigation.
Although 2 people were reportedly taken into custody from the park Saturday night, on Sunday, police would not say if anyone was arrested.
We never released victim information. It would be irresponsible of me to comment on arrests that were made.
The deadly incident reached national outlets like the New York Times, but it is still not clear if the person or people who fired shots are in custody now, nor if there's ongoing threat to the community.
There are a lot of guns in our city. Can I definitively say there is no danger? No.
In daylight, neighbors reflected on the shooting's impact.
It's definitely different when it happens close to home.
It doesn't really surprise me because there are shootings everywhere around here.
PPB says so far in 2022, Portland has experienced 203 shooting incidents. 50 people have been hurt, and 14 of the city's 15 homicides have been from shootings.
Just as shocked and as saddened by what's going on. We know it's going to get better, but it will take some time.
Oh my God.
For Portlanders like Chelsea Blando, change can't come soon enough.
So I've learned to kind of tell the difference between fireworks and gunshots.
Galen Etlin, KGW News.
How many cops were off on August 22nd? How many cops were off? Letting them shoot at us in the street, letting us bug all this shit. I ain't gonna stand here and let these cops lie. I'm not going to stand here and let these cops lie when they are sending gypsy jokers to kidnap us, when they are sanctioning this violence against us. As Ted Wheeler is telling these white supremacists to stand back and stand by. We are dying. We are trying to peacefully protest, and they are killing us. And I want to know if any of you care. I want to know if this police officer cares. I want to know if Ted Wheeler cares. And
And ladies and gentlemen, let's just pick it up from there. So let's get a few things straight. Ted Wheeler did not say that. Ted Wheeler marched in the street with you feckless, no spine having cowards. Because see, you're going to pick on innocent, good, everyday people until we get tired and we say no. Now, just to clear what happened, Black Lives Matter at first came out and said they were not even armed. But the suspected shooter was shot by a Black Lives member. So yeah, you were armed. And as a combat veteran, firearms instructor, someone who's had a lifetime of fucking firearms use, it would appear to me that this man would not have picked a gunfight, because reportedly there were AR-15s all throughout that Black Lives Matter crowd. You whiny bitch. So if you have that many firearms sprinkled, a man with a 45 and they had AR-15s is not going to pick a fight. Here's my theory. He said, don't come to my house, stay off my property. They had backed him into such a corner, because remember, this gunfight took place on his property. I saw ABC News, they're trying to say it took place in the park. It actually didn't. If you watch the news footage there, That was in a residential neighborhood. That wasn't at a park. That was in front of a house. And then they picked up the shell casings, much like they did in Chop Chaz when they killed the 16-year-old black kid. They picked up the evidence. Last time I remember, it was illegal to tamper with evidence in a crime. My theory is that he was attacked first. He was hit. That explains the sporadic firing. That explains him engaging men with rifles with a .45. You would never do that. And from my understanding, there were several men, but we'll never know because they hid the evidence like they always do. And then they come out and cry and complain. Oh, the police aren't protecting us. Did you see the look on the cop's face? Like, get the fuck out of here. The police aren't protecting us. Well, you want them abolished, not defunded. Defunded's bullshit. This article, no. You want them abolished. So this is what happens when normal, everyday citizens get tired of your bullshit. And then you whine and cry. And your mama, Kamala Harris, and your daddy, I almost said Barack, but it's not Barack. I don't think Barack actually liked BLM that much. Joe Biden are going to protect you. That's what's going to happen. It's ridiculous. The Soros-backed DAs and judges are going to protect you. There were no arrests in the Chop Chaz shooting. The father sued the city of Seattle and lost. When honestly, I think he should have won. They allowed that to happen. Judy Durkin encouraged it. They encouraged this to happen. They defunded their police. Because that kid would have never been in that position if that was never allowed to happen. But that's just my theory on that. What it looks like for me, that no man in his right mind is going to openly engage men armed with AR-15s. And if you'll look how the shots were placed, the woman that died, right? It appeared that he was shooting sporadically. And if he had any type of training or he had even been to a range, he's not going to be shooting sporadically. If he's shooting sporadically, that tells me he was already hit. And he's just trying to return fire to back him up off of him. Nope, they run and they blame the police. Oh, nobody's protected us. You're letting us, and we're being kidnapped. When? Meanwhile, BLM has murdered people in Seattle, Portland, Minneapolis, Los Angeles. Murdered 2 cops in Los Angeles. Actually, I think the one guy survived. Or was it the lady that survived? You murdered a Trump supporter, walk up and shot him in the chest. And that's supposed to be okay. Well, you know what? Hey, guess what, motherfuckers? Chickens come home to roost. Thank you for watching this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. Dan's a little fed up today. I'm sick of seeing this, but it's what I always tell you about them. They'll bully you when it's a bunch of them. Then when you fight back, they're the victims. Nobody cares. And we need to get out of this habit of taking up for these protesters. What I mean by that is, oh, it's a shame that, no. You chose that direction. You chose that direction because you can damn sure bet if they kill you or somebody in your family who's a right winger, they will not give a damn. We have to stop giving a damn. Maybe Tim Pool is right. Maybe the country is at civil war. Hey, like he keeps saying, it's just a bunch of small skirmishes, and that's where we're at. So, oh, also, I wanted to say, I pulled this clip from my boy Craig over at Black Conservative Perspective. So thank you. Hey, Craig, if you don't want me using that clip, just message me and I'll go and take it down. I don't mind. But thank you for that. But yeah, no, it's what they do. It's really ridiculous. I'm tired of it. So I know the average person is tired of it. I'm not even around it anymore. That's why we left Washington. Screw that. That's why we moved back to the country. That's why we won't even go to Austin, because that place is a shithole. And so is Portland. Portland's a shithole. Tell them I said it. Thank you for watching this episode of The Dan Dawson Show. As always, like, subscribe, especially in these days and times. Keep your paddle dry and do what you got to do.